Alright, so today I want you to mess around with layers, non-destructive layer adjustments, clipping masks, transform, skewing the image, making them larger, smaller, changing the saturations, changing the levels. Those are different types of non-destructive layer adjustments I'd like you to play around with. So go ahead and pick an image that you'd like to use, and you'll start with the base image. Then I want you to come over to your tool panel. Remember, that's over here on the left. You're going to grab your polygonal lasso. It could be under just the lasso. And if you'd like to do more free-handed, remember the lasso tool is a more free-handed selection-based tool, where the polygonal lasso is a straight-edged selection tool. Now I'm going to go into the center here, and I'm just going to start to primary click. And each time you remember that makes that anchor point. And when you connect them to the beginning, or you can double click, then just go ahead and use the shortcut Control J, and that is going to make a duplicate of that selection. Then go ahead and use your free transform, Control T. Then you can hold the Shift key and enlarge or make smaller if you want. And then you can start to play around with the different angles. And then what I'm going to do is start to move that off to the side. Then when you're ready, hit enter or the check mark to commit. Now what I want you to do is I want you to use the non-destructive layer adjustments. Now remember, you have your adjustment panel here. These are all non-destructive layer adjustments. You also have all the same layer adjustments up here in new adjustment layer, and all of these are here. So either method, you could either go to the layer menu or you can use the adjustment panel over here. If you don't see this adjustment panel here, remember all of your panels are up here in the window menu, and anyone that has a check mark means that it's over there on the right. If it doesn't have a check mark, all you need to do is select on it, and you'll notice that it then will pop up on the right. See how I selected the brushes? Now the brushes panel over there popped up. Alright, so I'm going to grab the levels, and I'm just going to start to shift that a little bit, and you're going to see this affects the entire image. Remember, whatever is above over here is in front of over here. Now what we can do is you can see this little clip. We can do the shortcut there, and that will clip that layer adjustment just to the layer below it. So now when you change it, you'll see that it is only changing that affected area. All right. So remember, this is a non-destructive layer adjustment, so it's not actually altering, changing the pixels of the layer 1. It's just giving that transparent adjustment on top of it. But if you hide that, it's gone. Remember, the eye icon hides or reveals that layer. Now we're going to go back to the background layer, and we are going to just continue to make selections. And then Control J. And then you can grab any other. We can just get creative. Remember to clip that down. And you can have multiple layers clipped to another layer. So you can see these are both clipped down to that layer 2. Now we're going to go back to the background layer. And with our lasso, we're going to continue to make different selections. Control J, Control T, Now remember, you always need to go back to that background layer, and then you can continue to start making another new selection. Now if you don't go back to that background layer and you start to make another selection, when you go to Control J or duplicate, it's going to say there's no pixels in that area for it to copy. It's because right there, if you hide the background layer, you've selected empty space. So it can't copy any of that because there's no pixels to copy. So you have to make sure that you go back down and select on the background layer. That way then you can make a copy of that area. All right, so I want you to continue to do this. Just make new copy after new copy, and I want you to make different layer adjustments to each one. But it only should be affecting that layer. So remember to make a clipping mask to the layer that you're selected on. Now remember, if you want to zoom in, Control plus, Control 0 will fit. If you are zoomed in, remember using the spacebar will allow you to go right to the hand, and then you can move around when needed. If you need to use the Move tool to select a layer, you can right click and grab that, or if you have the auto select checked, whichever layer you touch that's below, it will then start to move that layer that it's touching. Alright guys, so be creative, move these pieces around, make this entire piece look like it's shattering and exploding outwards. Alright, then I want you to go to File, Save As. You're going to save it your name, Shattering Layers. Save that as a PSD. And then File, Save As. Make sure to also save a JPEG. And then over here on your panels, go ahead and close the ones that you're not using so you can show as many of these layers as you can. And I want to see the layers and the adjustments clipped. So you're going to come and grab your snipping tool. And I want to see the full page. So I want to be able to see the layers over here. I want to be able to see the image. And I want to be able to see Photoshop. And then you'll go to Canvas and submit the PSD, the JPEG, and the screenshot. So in Canvas, when you hit Submit, Upload, choose File, select your screenshot, add another file, Upload File, choose File, the JPEG, add another file, Upload, choose, and the PSD. You'll have all three of those, and you'll hit Submit.